for Sagittarians from now until the end of May. Death reversed. Okay. So you may be wanting somebody to come back, but that's usually Five of Cups reversed, okay? So I see here that something may need to stay dead. And you're needing to create space for new things to come in. It could be getting rid of some old grief that you've been holding on to that's caused you to be depressed, not recovering, just some kind of emotional baggage. What other messages are there for Sagittarians coming out? Okay, Hermit reversed. Coming out of a period of being single or introspective. I see the need to change your attitude, so that'd be, I think, even a bad attitude. It could be about perspective as well, but needing to let something go, and that'd be like new attitude. So it looks like you are, like you're coming out and enjoying the world again after having suffered some kind of whatever it might be. But then again, I see resisting and then resisting too much. Like you're not heeding somebody's advice. So if you're not coming out, then that's what that is. If you want to bring a relationship back from the dead, it's not happening. In fact, the information here, the two major arcana, is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Okay, there's no forcing here. But I think your hope is that it might be possible to rekindle a romance, because this can say it's possible to rekindle with a romance from the past. Okay, so I do have two cards that talk about that, and then the end of the card that we had at the bottom, the Five of Cups, doesn't usually talk about that. It usually talks about, love, somebody new. All right, Page of Pentacles. This is focusing on / obsession with a person or an idea. Could be a new love coming in, but usually this is focusing too much on a particular person. Like you think this is the one, okay? And the advice is just, have some faith in yourself, okay? So I got this little pillow here. It keeps from hitting the desk here. I see you're trying to manifest something. Like you really are, like literally trying to bring it back. You may be observing somebody. Oh, I knew Temperance was going to come up at some point. I don't know how I knew that, but Temperance reversed. So again, not healing. Oh, you guys. There's a need for moderation. There's a big excess. Like you may be very obsessed with someone. If it's about addiction, then you're still in it, okay? You haven't actually come out yet. Because both of these cards talk about moderation. Now, for some of you who it may not be about addiction at all. Like you could have, okay, I think. So with Death and the Hermit, like there's an end to like a good time of your life. And this is you resisting moving on because you want the good old days back. Okay. And this is the wanting to reconcile. So we have lots of reconciliation cards. But it seems almost as if it's what you want rather than what's actually going to happen. And you're not healing. Like there's a need to let go. This is trying too hard. One-sided love. Some of you, something's not over for you yet. Because normally these two together talk about like a postgraduate degree. So some of you may not have graduated. But then we have Hermit reversed as somebody coming out into the world. And world is graduation. So it may not matter if this is in reverse. You may have just actually graduated. But it looks like somebody's not moving on. So there is a possibility of not having graduated. This may be you just like focused on the prize. If you did recently graduate, I see here focusing on like a new job and then possibly not getting it. I just happen to see this. Ace of Pentacles reversed, not getting that opportunity, letting something valuable get away, as well as be on the wrong path, wrong direction. You know what he's holding, right? Okay. So really, it should be like this. Okay. This may be letting it go. You're holding on. And normally death, when it comes to temperance, is like some kind of buffer to some kind of uncontrollable destruction. But both of them are in reverse. So it may be that you don't have any kind of buffer, like something's going to come if you don't give up this addiction, this obsession. And then temperance in reverse. I don't see the reconciliation happen, but it's the wanting it to happen. One more card for Sagittarians. What messages are there for Sagittarians from now until the end of May? Eight of Pentacles reversed. So I see end of a contract. Could be end of a relationship. And that could be that you're moving on, but it's not positive, it's negative, like you're bitter, or you're just not moving on. You're holding on to it, lots of excess baggage. Or you could be putting so much work into something, but it's fruitless, it's not going to happen, okay? Yeah, remember, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Okay, I think that's a pertinent message here. And then, for those of you who are in school, okay, then, wow, these are all education cards. Okay. At some point, somebody never graduated. Then we have shying away from being an apprentice. This is an apprentice, and this is like not wanting to be an apprentice. And then with this card combined with that Eight of Pentacles card, this is saying like, don't be afraid of being an apprentice. Like, be bold. Okay, go back, get your schooling, whatever it is you need. And then this will turn into this. You'll graduate. Okay. And I see like Hermit Reverse just says, you're going to have to humble yourself. Like, go back and be the apprentice. Don't worry about it, especially if you've lost a job, like Eight of Pentacles Reverse might suggest. And, if you were let go from a job, this is you may feel like you've been left out in the cold. So you feel like you have to kind of like rejoin a world that you had already been in before, as far as schooling. But yeah, don't let your ego get between an opportunity and common sense. Okay? Don't let it. Don't resist it, actually. Don't be too prideful. So I actually have a few things in here. We have obsession with somebody from the past that wants to reconcile, or you want to reconcile but it's not happening, or you may very well reconcile. There's two options there. And then having to go back to school, losing a job and being bitter about it, but try and find another one. Possibly not graduating school. Or if you applied to a job, you've been working there for a while, or even if you haven't, and they later find out you didn't graduate or something on your resume wasn't what it says, they can let you go. All right, let's get a little bit of clarification here. Why is death reversed here for Sagittarians? Three of Pentacles, yeah, it's about work. Being an apprentice, that's what Three of Pentacles is about. We said don't shy away from being an apprentice. Because you could get rewarded. Like people could observe you, okay, and say, wow, you're doing a great job, blah, blah, blah. You get rewarded, you get recognized. Okay, why is the Hermit reversed here for Sagittarians? Why is the Hermit reversed here? Five of Cups again, okay. So some of you, it is about loss. You're so focused on the Three of Cups, which sometimes is infidelity, and then Three of Pentacles can be infidelity as well. It's just, you're so depressed and you just can't move on from it. But there is Two of Cups behind it. Just gotta make sure to take our focus off the negative and let go so we can clear space for what is coming. All right, why is the Page of Pentacles here for Sagittarians? Okay, Temperance, upright. And it fell out that way, so we know it's meant to be upright. So you should be focusing on healing yourself, moving on, like integrating parts of yourself, getting that letting go and forgiveness aspect going for you. Also, as far as education, as far as moving on from emotional baggage and moving on possibly from a job loss, this is you getting your life together, okay? That's what focus on getting your life together. Focus on healing and recovery. And I just see you may need to compromise on something. If somebody does want to reconcile, or if you want to reconcile, you may need to compromise. You may have to be humble and compromise and go back to school. Okay, Seven of Cups popped up for some reason. Choose wisely. Usually that talks to me about temptation as well as fantasy. And somebody doesn't know what the best choice is. And it was right on top of Temperance. Yeah, guys. Hanged Man. I had a feeling that was going to come out. So I see you're going to need to be patient to make a good choice. You guys, it's supposed to be a quick reading. Like, with the Hermit here, choose wisely. I see you needing to be wise. It could be choosing wisely what you focus on, what perspective, what attitude you have. Because remember, there's a need for a change in attitude in order to forgive someone. Again, if you're holding two conflicting beliefs and you're not really sure what to choose, like you have two options, Temperance says integrate them together. It looks like you haven't been, but you will. But you have to be patient, probably compromise, maybe make some sacrifices. There may be some, oh, that didn't really come out. And also with the Hanged Man, you are waiting for an opportunity. Okay, here's an opportunity here. Here you have multiple options. And you're waiting on an opportunity. But Seven of Cups reminds me a lot about obsession. Living in a fantasy world and then needing to choose wisely. But you also may have a lot of options as far as how to increase your, or how to better yourself career-wise. Yeah, we have 3 letting go and forgiveness cards. Now, some of you may feel like with the Hanged Man, like you are just going back to square one. Like you're the apprentice again. But your advice here is don't shy away from it. You may have to go back to square one with a person and start all over again. Okay, that's a possibility if you do reconcile. Or for somebody who's coming back, maybe they're obsessed with you. Then I could see you saying, okay, here we go again. And I just realized, guys, I'm sorry that we had your card twice. First, you weren't feeling like yourself, but you're going to end up feeling like yourself. And that's why I think you're the one obsessed, because Temperance is next to this card only. Okay, both of them surround it. So that's you focused on something. Okay. Why is the 7 of Cups here for Sagittarians? King of Cups reversed. Okay, it's somebody promiscuous. And, ooh, 9 of Swords. So choose wisely. Because I see emotional imbalance, addiction, and depression. I don't see really 2 choices here. To me, they're the same choice. Like if you don't choose wisely, you're going to be imbalanced, possibly addicted, betrayer, sexually promiscuous, and you're going to be depressed and in a waking nightmare. You know, and Hanged Man, just thinking about that real quick, because I was here with Page of Pentacles, says you need to go back to school. So we have all these cards that can go back to school. I see a little bit of love in here. I wasn't trying to, but at first I was seeing love. I think there's a little bit of it in here, but it's mainly about school. And I think this is also saying you're not too old to go back. And don't worry about other people's thoughts or opinions. And this may be you trying to escape reality, living in fantasy. I can see that, especially with the Hanged Man. So fantasy. And if this is not about going back to school, for those of you who are living in some kind of fantasy land and you're possibly obsessed with someone or just not wanting to let go and you think, oh, I'm going to reconcile someday. This may be saying you need to learn. You need to learn. Not necessarily like go back to school, but just you need to learn. Because this is, not accepting reality. Out of touch with reality. And what the reality is depression, terrible, possibly game, guilt or shame. So yeah, there's need to moderate whatever you're focused on. Be patient. because that's actually called patience temperances. So be patient, choose wisely. We have 2 patience cards. And perhaps you weren't very patient. And perhaps you weren't patient and you quit a job because you thought it was below you, possibly. All right, for those of you it's about love, let's pull a message for you. What's the overall message for Sagittarians who are searching for love? What's the message for Sagittarians about love from now until the end of May? Okay. It's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So opening your heart means it's probably been closed off for a while. Probably because it's been stuck with something that's dead. Remember, we have to make new room for something else to come in. So this is the time to do it. Okay, what other messages do we have for Sagittarians about love from now until the end of May? Soulmate. This is your soulmate. Okay. Now, it came out upright, so it very well could be a soulmate. And in that case, what I'm seeing here is somebody coming back, and you still value them. But you're not really putting in a lot of effort, or they may not be putting in a lot of effort. This is the first indication I've seen of a soulmate. So I may want to do some clarification on that. Why is the soulmate card here for Sagittarians in love? 7 of Wands reverse, rejection. Giving up. So maybe you have to give up on an idea that this is your soulmate, or you're being rejected by someone you think's your soulmate, or you're rejected by your soulmate. I mean, that would suck. But for those of you in education, even though this is supposed to be about love in this particular one, I see teacher. Okay, so it's like going back to school. This is giving up the fight. Perhaps if somebody does want to reconcile with you, and you're focused on that, then perhaps you give up and you're like, yeah, let's spark something out. Let's compromise. Let's do some forgiveness. All right, for those, and this is about going back to school, what messages are there for Sagittarians who are going back to school? Ooh, Chariot, Triumph. So this is going back to school, literally. Also, I see the need to integrate and moderation. Okay. So this could also be about people who are addicted to. But this overall is a yes card. It says, go for it. Get moving. I also see that there's a need to be humble and work really hard. And I think maybe you don't want to go back to school because you don't want to work so hard. Again, I see the word wise in here, okay? Because it does have, normally it has a star of the hermit, and we have the hermit here reversed. So possibly not being very wise, thinking you're way too old, you can't go back. But here, the Chariot talks about apply your energy wisely so you can make a point, okay? Again, I see the need for reflection, to kind of analyze your situation, to get your health back in order. And also, you're due some recognition and rewards and honor, just like 3 of Pentacles suggests. With the Chariot and the Hangman, I see stagnation, which may not be a bad thing. It may be more like the patience, okay, that we've been talking about. And you feel like you're already kind of like set in your ways. But doesn't mean you can't change. Remember, we have to let go of something old and make room for new. And so perhaps if somebody wants to come back, it's death upright. With Chariot, it means you're ready to settle down. So you may not be ready to settle down with this person or at all. You may still want to date. You still want the admiration from more than one person. Okay, what's another message for Sagittarians regarding school and education? 9 of Swords again. Why do you have this twice? We did say choose wisely, right? You guys, I really have no idea why that's an action step for a message. Not when it comes to education. That's crazy. 3 of Wands reversed. So it's a lack of a partnership leads to some depression. A lack of options, like something's not coming in for you. And that could be if you didn't choose wisely. Like this could be a wrong choice. Hangman again. There's a need to be patient. We have a lot of 7s in here. 9s, 5s. Let's see. All right, so 7s talk about the need to reflect, figure out your motives. But 7s are also about observation. So you have choose wisely. This may be somebody who's watching somebody, observing somebody on the internet. They have 7 of Wands reversed. So not invested. But there's a need to investigate. And then we have observe with the Page of Pentacles. And then Chariot was also the number 7 card. It's a period of introspection and solitude. So I think you've come out of a period of introspection and solitude. 9s are about getting what you want, being wise. And then we had, 5s are almost always impermanence. Like something, almost all the 5 cards are bad. So we have 5 of Cups twice. And then Hangman is 14, which adds up to 5, and you had it twice. So I see like losses, fluctuations, but there's a challenge out here. And then with the Chariot, talking about expansion, I think you're going to expand your world. If you don't expand your world, like this is going out, expanding your world. If you don't, depression. Like you're going to wish you had. And so you need to choose wisely. Oh, what? When did 7 of Cups come out, you guys? Or 7 of Swords? Another 7. Okay, I totally missed that. Now, for some people, this is about temptation because it's right next to 7 of Cups. To me, this is temptation to cheat, be sneaky, which reminds me of 3 of Pentacles too. But this also talks about having hope. So that's a good thing. Not a little bit less 9 of Swords. I could see you might be withdrawn. Oh, okay. I completely forgot about that. You don't hear this a whole lot, okay? But I've never heard anybody else say it. But I remember doing some research. 7 of Swords, it can be education. I know you always hear sneaky, but it can be education. So choose wisely your education. Maybe you're choosing what college to go to. Sevens are all about knowledge. So again, getting your learning, making an investment in that. And also learning from experience. Wow. They're also about discovery. Okay, so you may discover infidelity for some people. Also, maybe choose wisely or you're going to learn what's going to happen. But yeah, I forgot it's education. That's crazy. Why I'd remember that now, I don't know. But sometimes it also talks about failed plans. And this could be failed plans that lead to depression. Now, I don't think education is going to lead to failed plans. I think you have failed plans and the education is going to solve them. All right. For people who've lost a job, what messages are there for Sagittarians who've lost a job? The Sun, very positive. So there's a new job coming. Also, it's for anybody really, there's new love coming. But I specifically asked about jobs, so there's a new job around the corner for those of you. But also something will come to light if you're wondering. If somebody is being sneaky at any point. But I think when you go back to school, it's going to get you that education you need where you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to make so much effort and be profitless. You'll be this way. Because Sun is about wanting to live simply, live free, not having to work so hard. And your work will take very little effort with the Sun. If you're wanting to get recognized, okay, this is you getting recognized, usually positively. You'll be able to share your achievements with people. And I think you'll just see the truth.